Quite a few people have been saying, you know what, Tesla, Elon Musk, you should buy Rivian. You know, save Rivian. We all think Rivian's in trouble. A lot of Americans think Rivian will go bankrupt. And they think that Tesla, or at least Elon Musk himself, should purchase the company. Now, Tesla have responded to these comments. Here's what they said. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Great to have you with us. We'd love to have you at the Sydney EV show, which is in, 3 weeks. I'll put a link in the description to get tickets cheap. Also, guys, if you want to, my solar system just created 142 kilowatts of energy yesterday, which is a record for me. It's enough to charge 2 Tesla Model Ys from 0 to 100%, which is crazy. But if you want to use the solar company that I use, they were great. I'll put a link in the description below. Now, Elon Musk has responded to calls for Tesla to buy Rivian. These are not new calls, by the way. That people have been saying to Tesla, to Elon for a long time now, buy Rivian. I should point out, though, Elon Musk did say he thought Rivian are in trouble quite a while ago, and he thought Rivian was making decisions that weren't wise. He thinks that Rivian is kind of scattering their money around too much. They need to focus on one central location, focus on efficiency, focus on a couple of core metrics, to a small number of vehicles, kind of like Tesla does with the Model Y and the Model 3. Recently, though, he heard that the Volkswagen Group invested $5 billion into Rivian. And I mean, he and everyone else was curious. They said, Musk said, where's the Volkswagen Group getting the money from? Because obviously the Volkswagen Group has $200 billion of debt. Their sales are falling, particularly in China. And it doesn't make sense in his mind, which I get. The reason it doesn't make sense is outlined just in a minute. Now, Musk has responded to some of these calls, and I think he's probably gotten a lot of them, hundreds of people asking him this question. So he's finally gone, okay, I'll respond. Musk was actually in Philadelphia on Friday night for an event for the presidential election. Guys, I've got to reiterate, I'm not really into this stuff. I'm not into the election. People have been asking me to do a video about, why Trump would be bad for EVs and why Harris would be good. I think they're both bad. Now, don't get me wrong. I think, one is marginally better than the other. I think, obviously the Democrats, there has been during their period of them being in power, there's been an unprecedented investment in electric cars, in batteries. They're unprecedented. Statistically, you can't argue with that. In an interview that I was involved in, someone said that wasn't the case. It is actually true. It's true that there's been an unprecedented, there's been more invested in the US into EVs and into renewable energy than there has been in China in the last 2 years, which tells you everything you need to know. That said, I'm not endorsing either side. I think they're both crazy. So anyway, this event was focused on politics, which I want nothing to do with because I think it's crazy. Get 2 good candidates, America. You can find them. You've got hundreds of thousands of great people there, great entrepreneurs, great leaders, not lawyers. I'm not into lawyers becoming prime ministers and presidents, and we have that here in Australia. It doesn't add up. I'm like, you're a lawyer, so you like to argue? In my opinion, people who should be in power are people who are able to create businesses. And that's not meaning I agree with Trump being in power. Anyhow, one attendee said he asked Musk a question about why Tesla had not bought Rivian, a competing automaker that has a solid consumer base, strong products, and an innovative CEO running the company. Now, I agree. The CEO of Rivian, RJ Scaringe, he's great. Fantastic. A solid consumer base, though. They don't really have a solid consumer base. They haven't sold many cars. I mean, there's like 50 Chinese random EV companies you've never heard of that have sold more cars than Rivian. So, yeah, consumer base is actually pretty small. Musk said this, I wish them the best. I hope they do well. The car industry is a very difficult industry. There's only 2 car companies that haven't gone bankrupt, Ford and Tesla. Rivian's going to have a hard time. It's insanely difficult to compete in the car industry. If it were not for 2 technology discontinuities, one being electrification and the other being autonomy, I think Tesla would not succeed without solving both.
Why hasn't Tesla bought Rivian?
I wish Rivian the best. I hope they do well. The car industry is a very difficult industry. There's only 2 car companies, U.S. car companies, that haven't gone bankrupt, and that's Ford and Tesla. And Rivian's going to have a hard time. It's just insanely difficult to compete in the car industry. That is a hard problem, I have to say. In fact, if it were not for not just 1 but 2 technology discontinuities, one being electrification and the other being autonomy, I think Tesla could not succeed without solving both. Not just one, but both. What we're seeing...
Musk is saying Rivian won't succeed without solving autonomy. Neither will most car companies, right? That basically rules out everyone, doesn't it? Except for maybe a very, very small number of car companies. So there will be a consolidation in the automotive industry. He's suggesting that's what will happen. A little bit like mobile phones. You know, there's really only a few major players in the phone industry. There's a few bit players, but they're not really that relevant. You're really looking at Apple and Samsung, who are the two big players. I believe Musk thinks that's likely. Could that be Tesla and BYD, or could that be another company? Obviously, XPeng has much better artificial intelligence than BYD do. I mean, it's a miles difference. So that's possible. I don't know. But I believe Musk believes that automakers who don't solve autonomy won't exist, or they'll probably be purchased by another car company, a conglomerate, Geely, BYD, etc. Rivian has, of course, some great products, guys. So this is not myself or anyone else criticizing Rivian's vehicles. I think they're actually really good. I'd love to own a Rivian R1T or an R1S. I saw quite a few when I was in the States. I saw quite a few R1Ss actually. They look fantastic. I think they're really good, but it's not about that, is it? It's about turning a profit. Remember, Rivian did have investors like Ford and Amazon, but those partnerships have ended. And of course, Ford did sell its stock in Rivian, which it made a nice profit on that stock. So it's quite a good move from them. Guys, what are your thoughts here on Rivian's future success? Now, obviously, Rivian sales fell in the third quarter of this year. And, you know, they're selling only really a few thousand vehicles per month, which it's not enough, obviously. It's not enough to support their investment into a new factory, into building all these new products, all these new cars. Consolidation is necessary. But what I think maybe Rivian should look at having a partnership with Tesla. I'm just thinking myself. Let's say in an imaginary world, I was suddenly the CEO of Rivian. What would I do? And this is like a video game, right? Where you get a few goes, you die. If you don't succeed, you try again. My first go, this is what I'd try. I would call Tesla. I'd say, guys, how about we partner with you? We want to use your full self-driving technology, and we'll give you a percentage of the company. We'll give it to you for free. That then incentivizes Tesla to make it work, right? Give them a small percentage, give them 10%, and Tesla all of a sudden has a vested interest, 20%. Vested interest in making it work. You share technology, you use full self-driving, Tesla puts their full self-driving into Rivian's vehicles, and all of a sudden, maybe two car companies win instead of only one. That it could be a potential solution. It does sound a bit wacky, but I think it could work. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.